I've played a lot of the Avengers video game over the last week and a half that I've had it, because I picked up the Deluxe Edition last Tuesday for the same price as the regular, essentially. And I've seen a lot of disparaging and bad comments about it online. It's not as short as people would have you believe. There is a 12-hour campaign, which I did myself and played through solo and streamed it all if you want to watch it. But the story doesn't end there. The significant difference is that once you're done with that, there are more story missions you can do, but you don't have to do them in single player. You can do them in multiplayer. Like, you can pretty much invite people to your strike team at any point through the vast majority of the campaign. And there are lots and lots of things that pop up in your missions tab, which I've now cleared, which is why I feel like I can do a review in the game, because there's more story content to unlock. Like, heck, I unlocked the last story cutscene of the game just last night, and it took me about 36 hours of play past the story to get there. Hi, Luna. Yes. So, saying it's a 12-hour game, it's not 100% accurate. I mean, that's not even getting into the whole thing of playing further to improve your gear score, level up more heroes, playing with your friends.
We've had word that
I know.
Yes. Into urban areas to search for
you can always tell when I'm recording, can't you?
Some have been sent to Jersey City.
So, we're just going to hop into a side mission that's unlocked and available because it's a good way of showing off the gameplay. I'll be playing as Widow because she's my main character. Got her to the highest power level, and she's almost at max power level, but the resource grind does get a little bit silly towards the end. So, Avengers. You've probably seen gameplay of it. You've probably played the betas that were open. It plays well, and it's fun to play. There are, again, people out there who say things like, oh, you can just mash the attack buttons and you'll do fine. And you really don't. Like, that works against the basic enemies and tutorials. When you start fighting things like riot bots or stiletto guys or the phasing guys or the watchdogs we're going to be fighting against here, like just mashing the attack buttons is going to result in you ending up in your butt waiting for the AI to revive you. The game is definitely easier in multiplayer because you have infinite revives. Only having a couple of revives before the game resets is kind of weird. But I guess they did that way to make it feel like the single player had some sort of failure state. Yeah, I know I've got higher power gear, but I'm not going to equip it.
Backup has arrived. Protect those Inhumans.
We got company.
So I like playing as Widow because of the fact that she has a grappling hook, which lets her pretend to be Spider-Man. And there's not really that much to describe about the gameplay you're going to be seeing here because it's pretty straightforward. Bad guys have a health bar and they have a stun bar. When you fill up their stun bar, you can do these canned animation takedowns that give you health back and generally get you other resources such as extra ammo for your intrinsic bar, which is different for every character. And you get different mission objectives throughout. Like this mission we're on has 3 steps to the main part. You got to defend these 3 guys from getting hurt. Then you've got to defeat a strike team who've got shields, and then you've got to free some guys from cells. And crucially, this gameplay of hitting people with sticks and weapons and guns, or shooting them if you're playing as Iron Man, it's fun. This is fun to do. Like, it's not going to be Devil May Cry level complexity, but you do have to worry about things like counters, like guard breaks, like status effects. The way I've got my character built at the moment, I can pretty much kill anything using my abilities in the bottom right hand corner, which include my little shock darts or the ability to go invisible and get increased critical damage from behind. So like the characters do play significantly differently. Like Widow's main benefits are her ability to go invisible, quick and easy access to takedowns, ability with the grappling hook. Like Thor can fly. He can pin an enemy behind Mjolnir so they can't stand up. Cap gets his shield and let me tell you, this game's pretty satisfying when you're playing as Captain America, kicking a shield at people's faces and then kicking it back at them when it bounces off. Like, it's a fun game. So, once you're done with the main objective you start with in these kind of missions, you've got the option to go straight to the story point, which is the diamond, or you can go and do some of these question marks, which is stuff for side mission stuff. So, like finding more gear, rescuing people from being captive, assassinating higher level targets. Like, it's all pretty much a case of more video game. Like, none of these side missions are ever going to have like a story beat to them. It's just a case of, hey, do you want to play more of this game? And the answer tends to be yes. So, we've talked about how the game is good. Now let's talk about how the game is not good. There is a distinct lack of imagination for a lot of the missions. Like, pretty much every single one of the villain repeats. Like, you can get these missions that are dailies to refight proper villains from the campaign. There's like 4 of them. You get to fight a handful of villains throughout the campaign, and a couple of villains in the campaign that are unique to the campaign. And then there's a couple of them that repeat when you're doing the side mission stuff. That's it. I mean, they're going to be adding more heroes for free, they're going to be adding more villains for free. So there'll be more stuff in time, but the stuff that's in the base game, there's a fair bit of repetition. Which is pretty much how these games work. I mean, that's how it worked with Destiny and The Division too. Like, you keep doing the same things over and over again with higher numbers to get higher numbers. If you're not a fan of a game where you get to see numbers go up, you're not going to like the Avengers. The other things are, the menu systems take a few seconds longer to come up than I'd like. These gear systems, for seeing what you have equipped, are not great. Like, sometimes it's quite difficult to tab up to the things you're selecting. Like here, if you want to go and actually look at the gear you've picked up off the ground, if you move up and right, it'll often hover over the icons on the left. So you're going to have to be careful to move over to the side to do it. This stuff is junk automatically because it's power level 129 and I'm 147. So I know I can just scrap this stuff straight away. There's no mark as junk or scrap all functions. Like, you can't even specify to the game, like, hey, don't even tell me about something you pick up as power level 129, because I'm not going to look at it, because I don't need anything at low level. So the gear system isn't the best. For the majority of the game, I've just held L2 to equip best gear, because the power number is the only thing that matters for the vast majority of the game. Occasionally, there are other things that are important, but they don't really matter, like your actual stats, until your maximum in-game power level, because once you're at that power level, then you can't just equip the best gear possible again. But until that point, gear is simultaneously a pain to go through because there's so much of it, and completely meaningless because you can just hold L2 to equip the best stuff. Which is kind of weird for a gear-based game, but hey, you know, these things happen. So, gear's not great, which isn't the sort of thing you want to hear for a gear-based game. The skill trees are a little bit overwhelming at start, but they're kind of better once you get the hang of them. And honestly, the amount of customization you have with stuff like the mastery to be able to customize your character and really make them unique is good. Cosmetics. Cosmetics are disappointing. A lot of them are just recolors and reskins of the things you've already got, and they'll often relock themselves. Like, the outfit I currently have equipped is called Codename Mary, and according to the game, I don't own it, despite having spent 7,000 of these units currency on it last night. The social menu is kind of weird because you can see friends and invite them to your team, but you can't join them in progress. And then there's the Battle Pass stuff, which they've talked about being paid for characters down the line. You can only progress it by doing daily and weekly challenges, which is fine, but it still takes a while to get them. And a lot of the things that are in there, they're kind of rubbish. Like, these nameplates are not particularly great. The most important thing to earn is the in-game currency, so you can spend them in the marketplace on things you actually want. like new custom animations for takedowns, which is why I have the a little extra attention takedown, because I use the currency I earned in game to get it. They clearly want you to spend real money on that stuff, and if you do, well, honestly, that's entirely your choice. You don't need to. There is absolutely no reason to. But they definitely tune the cost of that stuff to make it incentivizing that you'd want to spend real money on it. And here's me not paying attention and getting knocked down to a third of my health, so time to go invisible and get it back. Animations occasionally a bit buggy, and the game is not particularly well polished. There have been several situations over the course of my streams where I've fallen through the world out of existence and had to wait on my friends online to get to a transition to a new area to be able to rescue me, or just had to quit the game and start over. Apparently that was causing some problems with save file deletion at launch as well, but at least that stuff seems to have mostly been sorted out. There are a lot of graphical glitches, like sometimes you'll be taking damage from things you can't see. There's some problems along the lines of status effects being way too powerful against you. Some boss fights just being kind of boring because you have to just stand outside their range and shoot them because you can't really melee them because they hurt you in melee, stuff like that. Some of the loot stuff again, like you can get rewards inside chests of things that are cosmetic, and if you get them multiple times, the actual reward you get is tiny. Like it really does feel like there's no point in going for them after a certain point. And some of the currencies you collect are functionally worthless, like the plasma I just collected there. Like, you use it for upgrading stuff. I've got 3,000 of the stuff because you use a tiny fraction of that stuff to actually upgrade things. It's kind of dumb. So yeah, Avengers. You've hopefully got a good idea of how this plays. It's good fun with friends. Like, it's designed to be played with your friends. But it's also one of those games that they're going to be adding more content for free over the years. If you wanted to wait and pick this up on a sale next year, get the PS5 version for free included with it, whatnot, like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's going to be the same game. And it's still going to be fun. It's not a game you need to pay 70 quid for. And indeed, I'd say if you spend maybe 30 on it, you're going to have a good time. Where's that last little button to press?
Radio chatter suggests the watchdogs know you're here.
Again, some of the jank. When you press the up button, it gives you stuff like intel on things like where power cables are. Sometimes, depending on where you're standing and looking at them. Ah, it's just up there. What was the last one again? Over here, wasn't it? Like, for all that effort, this chest contains a comic book for a 1% buff to one of my stats, and 50 currency, when the currency costs about 7,000 to get a new costume. And the AI is not the smartest. So I've tried to avoid sounding overly negative because I have enjoyed playing this game for the last week and a half, but it does still need a little bit more work. They'll hopefully get round to it over the course of the next few months. I'll be keeping it because it doesn't really trade in for much because of the fact that it's been so popular, and I liked it. So if you get the chance to pick this up for like 20, 30 bucks, go for it. You'll have a good time. More so if you're playing with friends. If you're only going to be playing solo, there is a lot of post-game content you can do solo, and you don't need to be online for any of it, and you'll have a good time. But like, don't go spending 90 or 100 quid on this. It's definitely not worth that much. Thanks for watching.